Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing good. Today I'm going to show you an AI agent that I have developed. I call it as Security Architecture Framework Agent. Um, every organization today needs a cybersecurity architecture, but building one from scratch is one of the most time consuming task for a security professional. Um, a security architect has to read and cross reference six or seven heavyweight frameworks like SABZA, TOGAF, Zachman, NIST framework, Zero Trust, you name it, there is a framework for that, architecture framework for that, because uh, in the past years, the past decade, all the architecture frameworks have evolved a lot. That there is a lot of different frameworks that's being used at the enterprise level, and each one of these framework is almost about 100 plus pages, and each one covers security from a different angle, so it has its own views and viewpoints. Say SAPSA tells you why the security matters to business. TOGAF will tell you how to transform your enterprise architecture. And of course, the NIST tells you what controls to put in place, etc., etc. The problem is that none of them talk to each other. It is very independent in structure, right? And the architect has to figure out which framework applies to their specific organization, which specific artifacts within each framework is relevant, and then synthesize all that information into a tailored reference security architecture. That process is a manual process, and it takes sometimes months, and it takes more than a year, and it requires, of course, the deep expertise across all frameworks simultaneously. Organization pays a ton for the consultants and hire external vendors to deliver on this reference architecture. So this is what we are trying to solve using this tool. So this is the architecture framework agent tool that I have developed. So uh, it produces three things. The first one is a framework mapping table showing exactly which frameworks apply at which level with specific artifact citations. The second one is a real passage retrieved from the actual framework documents with page numbers. You will see that when I start doing the demo. It's not the summaries, it's the actual framework documentation references and passages. And the third one is a conceptual diagram, a security architecture diagram layered by domains mapped to framework references. So now, uh, before I show you how it works, I have the technical architecture view for this. Probably this is one of the projects that I had the opportunity to experiment around newer concepts, and this is why I really enjoyed doing this project, because it has got the compared to all the other agentic and AI projects that I have done so far, this one has got a little bit more breadth in terms of the technical concepts that I have used. So at the front, single HTML file, we just saw the interface. That's the same interface the end user will be using. And it has the intake form, and it has the output panel where you see the results. So when this architect submits a profile, organization profile, the browser sends a HTTP post request to a fast API backend response model. This is currently running locally on my machine. The backend uses the LangChain orchestration layer, and it orchestrates two things simultaneously. The first one, it sends that organization profile that the user submitted to a model which I'm using is Google Gemini 2.5 Flash, and it's of course the vendor is the Google, and it's the model that I'm currently using, and it basically, when that organization profile has been sent to the Google Gemini, it carefully creates a system prompt that encodes all the framework. And Gemini produces a structured JSON formatted mapping. And at the same time, there is a RAG pipeline, which is a retrieval augmentation generated pipeline. It retrieves the relevant passage from the documents, and those documents are being stored in a vector database. I'm using ChromaDB in here, and it's local vector database. So these documents are being translated as chunks by the vector DB. So that's being used, and each chunk was embedded using another model, Mini-LM, which is a Hugging Face transformer model, and that's for the injection of those documents into the data pipeline, into the RAG data pipeline. So this is the overall from the front end to the back end looks like, and so it's a pretty cool in the sense it combines all the important concepts that the AI automation flow uses. It has got the front end, the orchestration layer, and it has got the RAG retrieval and the vector database, and it has got the embedded models as well. And of course, I purposefully didn't introduce an agentic interface in this one, but that's something which I can think about for the phase 2 as well. So that's the setup like. Now let's run our first scenario, right? So say this is a large financial service enterprise, and they are trying to migrate banking application from on-premises to the cloud. So they need to maintain PCI DSS compliance throughout the migration, and the architect is trying to build a reference architecture framework. So I will select here the financial services. The regulatory environment they are looking is the PCI DSS architecture security level. Maturity level is, let's say, for this institution, it is a managed one. And what we are attempting here is to see if this has a cloud first migration and infra modernization. That's what we are trying to do. And so we can add some additional context in here, and I have it here saved. So this is, we are migrating some of the legacy on-premises application to the cloud, and it must maintain the PCI DSS through the migration. New CISO hired 3 months ago. The target is zero trust posture for all cloud workloads. So we can also select the zero trust in this case. So we are going to run the mapping, and this is the mapping for it. And that normally takes few seconds, and we have the mapping for the reference security architecture framework. It's taking a couple of seconds in here. Here we go. So that's the mapping result. So it has got about 10 requirements, and there are eight high priority requirements. And then this has got a lot of specificity as well, right? So if you see here all the requirements around business driven security strategy definition, zero trust policy enforcement, because that's one of the mandate, security cloud network segmentation and micro segmentation, PCI compliances for migrated cloud workloads, legacy application security modernization for cloud. So everything related to the cloud security posture, that's what it has been picked upon. And then if you look here, it has prioritized neatly what we need to work on. And then from SAPSA to TAGF to ZACMAN, NIST frameworks, it has highlighted which reference under each of these frameworks is relevant for this particular security requirement. And the citation here gives a full list of the actual source material for each of these frameworks. I'm trying to fine tune this result at this point, but the idea is that it gives exactly if zero trust policy enforcement is mentioned in here, uh, the reference to the policy enforcement from the zero trust documentation will be cited in this list. And so that the architect, when they look at this overview, they can go into this particular context in the document, and can further summarize or further go in granular, right? So rather than going through 100 plus pages document and reviewing the entire architecture like that, right? So this comes in handy. And supporting to that, there is a diagram, a conceptual level diagram is also available in here. So that will also give a domain by domain which frameworks and the diagram associated with it. Um, Again, this is also a from 60,000 feet above view, and architect can further um, revise it and can go into depth to produce the final documentation. I think for the first phase one, I try to stay away from a couple of things, which is one is the documentation. I wanted to keep it as a separate, maybe for the phase two, and also maybe granular diagrams. That's something that I stayed away from. But of course, for the phase two, those are some of the considerations. So that's one of the demo. I have put in a few other cases, scenarios in here. This one is a very interesting one. This is a organization type is a technology SaaS, and then there is the regulatory SOC 2, and maturity level is initial, and the objective they are trying to achieve is AI native, API first, and integrated with the development security operations. So this is a Series B company starting up, building an AI native analytics platform, 150 engineers, LLM powered features. So if I go in back in here, this is technology SaaS, and this is trying to achieve the SOC 2 and of course the initial, and this is AI native, DevSecOps, and API first. That's their objective at this point. And this is the context. You don't have to, this is optional, so you can skip that, but at this point, more the profiling of the organization is given, the better for the model. So yeah, this is something that will be useful for specifically for the architects, and also think about this. There are many job profiles that which are using uh, that are being built upon several different frameworks. Project management have their own frameworks. Enterprise architecture have their own frameworks. Security architecture, this is the focus in here, and we just try to pick the security posture from all these frameworks, right? So this tool can be expanded to many other domains as well. And rather than prompt engineering on the interface, I think this is uh, the way I see it is that, of course, the diagrams representation is a nifty feature, but think about the tools that which is already existing in the market, and I can integrate um, with that existing tool, and that gives a dynamic sort of representation and mapping of the organization. And I can focus on the security front, or I can focus on the technology or information or application front. So a lot of other ways we can expand this use case for this. So all these informations are available in the GitHub, and it's publicly available, and I hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for listening.